Hi everyone, Chaz916 here. Today we are looking into playtest number 6, and I'm going to go over my issues with two of the classes today. The first class is Monk, and the second class is the Bard. The Monk. I have subtitled this The Lowly Weak Monk. Okay, first off, let's talk about the trope. The trope that the monk is based on is a martial arts monk. And if you've watched Chinese martial arts movies or Japanese martial arts movies, you know that these guys are basically the tank. They are good with their hands and their feet, they're good with weapons. Actually in Shaolin, I think there's like 18 weapons. So this is the trump that most of us who want to play a monk want to play in D&D. Now, the problem is, of course, is that the mechanics of D&D are not supporting that trope. At least not to the extent that would make them really a class worth playing. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people just don't play monks, and those that do complain because they're squishy, they're not doing enough damage, they don't have enough key points, etc. Okay, so here's my take on this whole thing. The monk has an identity crisis. Basically, the game mechanics aren't supporting the trope the way we see it. So, there are lots of ways to fix this, but let's take a look at some of the issues. Number one is that, in my eyes, the monk should be as good as a basic fighter. A monk is a fighter. So, I want to compare the monk who's using his martial arts hands, which are a weapon, with the weapons that a basic fighter would use, like a sword. I figured this would be a pretty good way of gauging it. Okay, so let's take a look. Now, martial arts strikes start at a D6. So what does a fighter do? Now, looking at a fighter with just a basic sword, he's doing a D8. Okay, so number one, martial artists aren't doing the damage of a fighter. And they are a fighter. Or at least they're a fighter class. Next, let's see. People complain because they're squishy. Why would they do that? Okay, so let's go down and take a look at the hit point. They're getting a D8, which seems pretty good, except that when you look at the fighter gets a D10. So they are squishy, they are underpowered. That's pretty much covering it, and this is in the updated version, and they are still going to be the issues right from the start. Okay, so, but these are not, of course, the only problems with this class. Let's go down to martial arts, level 1, simple weapons. Now, in the past, martial artists were able to use at least a few martial weapons. Now, here they're limited to simple weapons. Okay, so my objections to simple weapons is twofold. Number one, it doesn't fit the trope. And number two is the damage. So let's take a look. Simple weapons do a maximum of a D8. There, and the crossbow and the But what do fighter weapons do? They do a max damage of 2d6 to a d12. Let's see, d12. Yeah, like the great axe. So the weapons that a monk can use are not only not the best weapons for the class, they are weak weapons. Also, the masteries. They have a limited number of masteries and limited variety of masteries compared to martial weapons. So that's my problems with those. Okay, I'm not going to cover all of the problems with the class, but I want to touch on one more, and that is martial discipline. What we call key points, you can call it whatever you want, but everyone's complaint is there just isn't enough. And the reason is because they are really important to the character, because all of his really good stuff, fury of blows, patient defense, step of the wind, and stunning strike all require key points. And very early in the game, you use them up very, very quickly. If you're in a fight, you got enough key points maybe to hold you for 2 rounds. After that, you can basically become an extremely weak fighter, like NPC type fighter. You know, you can hit somebody with the sword. That's about it. So, what's the problem? Now, looking here, you can see that number 1, let's see, here we go. Discipline points. At first level, you have none. Okay, ki flows through the body. That's the whole point, is that you're drawing on inner strengths that we have, but that the martial artist has started developing. So if he's already first level, how come he has no discipline points? None. Okay, I can understand not having any additional movement, but no key points? That would be one way to start fixing this. Because if you want a player to be able to use his key points for more than just a strike or 2, he has to have them to do it. And they don't. That's everybody's complaint. And that's my last complaint on this class. Basically what happens is the players hoard their key points so that they can do, stunning strikes. And when you speak of stunning strikes, it's not the way it was before, where you could do as many stunning strikes as you wanted in a turn. No, you get one. So they kind of nerfed that too. So, like I said, lots of issues with this class. I think at this point I'm going to stop, because I could go on. And in short, if you are looking to play a martial arts monk, like the trope, like those that you see in anime and in the movies and in the comics, this class just isn't going to do it for you. Okay. 3, 2, 1. The Bard. Now I've subtitled this one The Almost Identity Bard. Basically, I'm not sure who's more confused. Me, the WOTC, or this class. Now, the WOTC keeps pushing that this class is a jack of all trades. But when I think of jack of all trades, I think of things like Batman and MacGyver. The Bard trope is not that of a jack of all trades, at least not traditionally, and not that I'm aware of. And this just keeps me confused every time I think about bards. The trope for a bard is that of a wizard who weaves magic, VIA, words and notes, and things that influence into stories and songs. That to me is the trope. Not, as you can probably tell, I really don't like the jack of all trades thing. It just doesn't seem to me to fit bards. That's probably why the reason I don't play bards. At least not in this game, because that doesn't make sense to me. And also, I think that the WOTC is missing an important opportunity by doing this. Let me read you something from this class, the class description. Different bards choose different approaches to their magic. Some bards practice Their arts in temples or monasteries drawing the power of the outer planes to channel their music. Others listen to bird songs and the music of wind, associated with bardic circles and world primal magic. Still others immerse themselves in the study of magical lore, collecting scraps of mystic knowledge whenever their journeys take them as the master of arcane secrets. I love this because I like that the bards get to pick their first spell list. And I think that that works perfectly because I think bards would gain their inspiration from different sources. But I think the missed opportunity is that these should be the subclasses. Let the bard pick one at the beginning, and then later on, when he picks his subclass, he gets to have another one. I think that that would be a really good focus for the bard. Again, I just don't understand what they are doing with this jack of all trades. Now, the problem is here, and this again is where they start picking up this theme of jack of all trades. Ultimately, though, the various paths converge as the most accomplished bards learn to access almost the entire breadth of magical potential. I think that that's overdoing it, and I think that that is stepping on the other classes, and in the end, it just doesn't seem to fit the trope. So, let's take a look at what they do have for subclasses, since I mentioned it. We have for subclasses, okay, going down, okay, College of Dance. Now, I don't have any objections to dance, but that's really a performance art. It has nothing to do with stories or singing. That's something that people do in response to singing, but I'm not sure how that actually fits the trope. Now, if you were talking about he's dancing and singing, yeah, but the two really don't fit together that well. So again, a missed opportunity. They could have had a really good subclass here. Okay, moving on, we have the College of Glamour. Now this one I like, because somewhere along the lines, he might have wandered into the Feywild and he starts using that as another expression of the power words. And I think that that one would be really cool. And if you took the other three and you added this one, I think you would have some really good subclasses. Instead, yeah. Okay, the College of Lore. Now this one would have been a great one to put in for the Arcane. Not sure what they're doing with it here, but it looks like it's geared towards the Arcane. So we got one that hits the mark. We have one that would be a great addition, which is the Feywild one. And, but the dance one that is way, way off. The College of Valor. This one I like, and I think makes a good subclass. But again, I think this is a missed opportunity. Maybe we could have come up with something else. But this one works. Okay, so, that's my problems with it. This is the problems I've had with the Bard since it came out. I just don't get the jack of all trades thing. It doesn't fit the trope. Don't see why it's in there. It just confuses me. Okay, now two other things that I want to mention. A counter charm. I am glad that it's here. I like the changes to it as far as being able to use it as a reaction, but 7th level? I would have maybe put this at 5th level or even 3rd level. I mean, counter spell is a 3rd level spell. So I'm seeing that there's a problem there. Maybe it's just me, but at the latest, I would have put that at 5th level, not at 7th. Words of creation. Now this one I love. It basically, it fits the class. And here we're talking words of creation, life and death, power word heal, power word kill. I think they so well fit the class. Would love to see some more other kinds of power words. Okay, so as I said, I think that that's on the spot, and then it matches the trope completely. I think I'm going to stop it there. I really do like this class. It's just I can't play it. It's just too confusing to me. I let players do it at my table, but it is really confusing, and I think that better subclasses would have come out of it if it had stuck to its original trope and left the jack of all trades thing out. Please, WOTC, reconsider that. Just my opinion. I hope others share it. Okay. I've got everything off my chest that I needed to. I want to thank you guys for listening. That's it for me for right now. I'll see you on the next one. Please take care, and goodbye for now.